Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. The Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 111, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zachy Hassan, and joining me once again is my best pal on this planet, other than my other best pals. I'm talking about Brian Hall.
Hey, what's going on?
I feel like just in case my many, many, many best pals are listening, I want them to know that I love them all equally.
Yeah, Todd, Ethan, no offense. This is like a
Spencer.
thing we do. Yeah. Riley.
So, Brian, what's going on? How's 2016? 2017. Wait, is 2016 over? It is, right?
Yeah, I still get a little weirded out when I see the 7.
Yeah.
Or when I have to write it down. But yeah, man, you know what's funny, actually? Now that I say that, I'm going to contradict myself a little bit. I do feel like it's been going on for a little while, and I can't believe it's still January.
This is true. It won't be for much longer by the time people are listening to this. So.
Yeah, well, that's true. But, yeah, well, oh, man. Finally, I've prime time to watch a bunch of movies, and I've been sort of catching up, and I just saw, before we get into some more current things, I saw a movie that I sort of missed last year, and I saw it crop up on a few people's top 10 lists, and so this had always been on my list, but Swiss Army Man is now...
The farting corpse movie.
Yes, the farting corpse movie starring
Harry Potter.
Daniel Radcliffe, and Paul Dano. And it was one of those things, I remember hearing about it, I think, out of Sundance, and some people walked out of this thing. I mean, that it is a movie about a corpse. A guy is on a desert island and a corpse washes up, and it farts and it gets erections and it, makes weird noises and whatever. And the guy ends up, it's sort of a really weird version of Tom Hanks and Wilson, his volleyball, the movie.
Sure.
Like he sort of makes a companion out of this corpse, and it helps him to endure and to keep moving forward. But he also finds that he can get all these crazy uses out of the body. And I mean, I don't think this is spoiling anything when I say that. I think it's in the trailers. He uses his farts to ride the corpse like a jet ski in the ocean and move around. And his erection, he uses it as a compass. So that's the movie we're talking about here. But I had heard so many people say that by the end, they found it really moving. And as crazy as all that sounds, I could picture it. I was like, I think this might be something I would kind of enjoy. It's wacky, but they bring it all home, and it'll come to this thing. And unfortunately, I didn't get there.
Okay. So you were one of the walkouts.
I was. You know what? No. And I was telling someone, I was like, I don't recommend this movie. But I have to say I admire it because this is something that shouldn't have worked at all.
Okay.
But they managed to tell a 90-minute story the way that they did with this craziness. And I get it. I get what they're doing. I just didn't respond to it like I think they wanted me to. Like I read an interview with one of the directors and its co-directors, and he said the way that Paul Dano came on board was they pitched it to him as, we want the first fart to make you laugh and the last fart to make you cry. And that was enough for him to sign on to the movie. And honestly, that would be enough to get me to watch it, because I'd be like, go. Like, let's do this. I'm really curious.
Sure.
And it ends in a pretty interesting place, I have to say, but it wasn't a satisfying place for me.
So swing and a miss for Brian Hall.
Yeah, but if you ever see it, I'd be really curious.
I'm honestly, the fact that you mentioned his erection, I'm maybe I'm going to regret asking this. So does he just have like a perma boner?
No, and that's what I was kind of imagining too. I'd heard that from like reviews, and I thought it was just like the body, sort of like rigor mortis sort of thing. But that isn't. I cannot consider this spoilers. But like, I think he starts talking in the trailer. Basically, what happens is he starts talking. And it's very weird, you know what I mean? He'll be like, oh, hey, Dan, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And so what happens is they find like a Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, and he shows it to the corpse, or the corpse accidentally sees it. And then his boner, it's like you would, as a kid, would joke if you stuck your finger down your pants and started moving it all around in all the directions. Like, it's not even like aiming to be like a realistic.
I feel like we've broken some new ground on topics that we discuss on this podcast.
Yeah.
Happy 2017, everybody. It's boner talk on the Movie Film Show.
Yeah. Oh, and the last thing I'll say about it, the way I sort of explained it to someone was, it reminded me if I was to go to like a student film festival.
Okay.
And this would have been the standout movie that you're like, well, that's never going to be in theaters.
Sure.
But like this kid definitely's got something going on. Like he's got an interesting vision. He shot for something completely nuts, and it was enough to engage me the whole time. I'm curious what he'll do next. That's kind of what I got out of this.
Okay. So okay. I think
it was a confident vision, but overall, I'm not so sure I was on board with it.
Well, a new release I finally saw, which you had mentioned in an earlier episode, I saw The Founder.
Yeah, man, I'm glad. You are the first person I am able to talk about this movie with.
So, I mean, I got to tell you, if I had seen this movie 3 weeks earlier, it would have been in my top 10 of 2016 list.
See, and I'm really happy to hear you say that because I think I put it as like 5 or something like that, like pretty high.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen one review. I haven't seen one person mention it. I haven't even really seen ads for it, I don't think. Like, so this is, I'm dying to hear more of your take on this.
Yeah, the Oscar nominations were announced earlier today, and I was kind of hoping that The Founder would get some love, but I think it's been completely shut out. Which is a darn shame because I think at the very least this is an Oscar caliber performance by Michael Keaton.
I completely agree, and because it didn't get recognized by any awards,
yeah,
and for being a small awards baity quote unquote picture as it kind of is, I just feel like no one's going to see this movie.
No, and I mean it opened in like 87th place.
Right.
And it's interesting. I mean, this is from the Weinstein Company, and this is supposed to be their bread and butter, is making winners out of their stuff. So I feel like they've lost their mojo a little bit because this is right in their wheelhouse.
And it's such a story that people... I mean, it's like The Social Network or, some of these like sort of movies that have come out recently about businesses and sort of anti-heroes and whatnot, but that have done well and people seem to respond to. And I mean, I think one of the things I found most interesting about it was you have in some ways seen familiar stories, but that this is about a company we all know.
Yeah.
I just thought there was something, just that alone made it really, really fascinating, and learning the true story of McDonald's. And it is a really interesting story with these two brothers.
Yeah.
So
well, and you have to put the word founder in quotes almost, because I mean it's the title is used somewhat ironically in reference to Ray Kroc, who the person who turned McDonald's into a global phenomenon. And what's so interesting is that the film positions you on Michael Keaton's side. Partially just because he's Michael Keaton, and who doesn't love Michael Keaton, right?
Right.
Communists don't love Michael Keaton, right? And we know him, and he's kind of this scrappy, like up by his bootstraps kind of character who you're really hoping will succeed. And what I think is so interesting is that you're on his side throughout the film, even as the pendulum starts swinging in the direction where he becomes kind of an unlikable character.
Mm-hmm.
And you're forced as someone who's sort of complicit to reckon with your own. You've indulged this. You know what I mean?
Right. Sort of like not as extreme, but like a Walter White Breaking Bad.
Sure.
Character.
Yeah. I mean, the two brothers who you mentioned in the previous episode too. Mac and Dick McDonald, Nick Offerman, and John Carroll Lynch. They are so you can't help but like them.
So good. Yeah.
Right. And so as you see the rug sort of being pulled out from under them, this is not a spoiler because this is history, as they lose their grip on the restaurant that bears their name. What's really interesting is the push and pull that I felt as somebody watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that really interesting. And again, any movie that makes you feel emotionally conflicted, I think that's something that's worthy of analysis and sort of introspection.
Yeah, and one of those things too where you feel conflicted, like you say, with some of these relationships and the way you feel about people and the things that are happening, but at the same time, it's odd. One of those odd circumstances where the result of this story already. Like, McDonald's is the hugest restaurant in the world.
Well, and this is the interesting thing, right? Because his answer would be, look, if it wasn't for me, none of this would have happened, right? Mm-hmm. And the thing, what's so interesting is that we've become so conditioned to be like, yeah, he's right, that we don't realize, yeah, but they wouldn't have minded if none of that
That's
had happened.
A good point. That's
right?
a good point.
Would their lives have been any lesser for it? No, because people loved what they were doing.
Right.
They were, I mean, you know what I mean? That's what it's this look at our own capitalism run amok society and how it's sort of skewed our sense of what is and isn't desirable in life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, too, to go even further, though. I mean, would we have Burger King? Would we have, I'm not saying for better or for worse, but I mean, like Taco Bell, like fast food, the way that it is today. Well,
and you see that, right? In the beginning of the film, it's like, hey, where's my like cutlery and plates and stuff? Oh, no, it's in a bag. And you just eat it and you throw it away. And it's like, that was a new thing one time.
Yeah.
You know, and, I mean, and it's like, that's how we eat at restaurants, you know?
Yeah.
That's just, I mean, you know, it was something unheard of until someone decided to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it's so obvious now, but that's what I love. I love even oral histories or about anything, you know, film related, business related, whatever, history. I love knowing the end result.
Yeah.
And then going back when there was people just filled with doubt.
Right.
Will this work? Like, I don't know. I'm taking a huge risk. And just knowing that it worked, you're like, man, like you really admire the gumption of some people.
Absolutely, yeah. So big thumbs up for The Founder. It's I have to imagine that it'll be out of theaters by the time you're listening to this.
Yeah, which is such a shame.
We're recording this like 4 days after it hit theaters, but I think it'll already be gone by the time you're listening because it's just not getting any traction, which is a damn shame. However, all that means is it'll be on streaming and whatnot as sooner than possible. So give it a watch.
Yeah, I mean, and you don't have to see this in a theater. Like, this is a completely, you know, you will enjoy this as a rental.
Yes,
no doubt.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a shame that people aren't seeing it in theater because I think I would love to see more movies like this being made.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a good point, too. Yeah.
I mean, I remember when we first talked about this way back in the day, you and I were both like, that's a really good idea for a movie, you know?
Wait, what is?
The Founder, like way back in the day when we first talked about it, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And I think because they announced like the story of New Coke. Do you remember that?
Yes,
like,
yeah.
I totally want to watch that movie, you know?
Yeah, I love those.
You know,
sorts of
but you
stories,
wonder if like the failure of a movie like this would make a movie like that less likely to happen.
Yeah, it's possible.
Very similar, you know? Speaking of movies that did not find an audience, another one that has just hit theaters relatively recently, I'm talking about Live by Night. This is the latest directorial effort by Ben Affleck, released by Warner Brothers, essentially to make sure that he stays happy as Batman, I think, right?
Right.
So you had seen this earlier. I had not. So we haven't talked about it at all. So I'm actually very curious what you thought of Live by Night.
Well, when I first saw the trailers for this, I'm always in for like a sprawling period gangster movie. I just love them, you know? And coming from Ben Affleck, who I don't think we've disliked any of the movies he's directed so far.
No.
So I had pretty high hopes for it, but ultimately it just... Something about this story was really off.
Yeah.
And what... Specifically, it has the look, it has the setting, it has the story, but something about it... It just there's nothing, there's too much story, I think, so there's really nothing to grab onto. It feels a little bit more like
it's episodic.
Like it's episodic, and so but and there's never, I might be actually aping this from, I think I saw did you write a review?
I did write a review. Yeah,
I think you said where there never ever seems to be any real threat against him. Like he never seems to truly be in danger when he is up against very dangerous things.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, and so the movie is set over the course of like a decade.
Yeah.
As we see Ben Affleck go from this small-time tough guy in Boston, this is during the Prohibition era, to essentially the guy running the wine racket or the alcohol racket in Florida.
Yeah, rum.
Rum, right? And it was a great cast.
Yeah.
I think it's who's the guy who's his right hand man? What's his name?
Oh man,
Chris Messina, is that him?
Yeah, Chris Messina.
Chris Messina, I like him and everything I've seen him in. Sienna Miller's in there.
Sienna Miller, by the way, I just wanted to throw. I was going to say that like she just kills it.
Yeah.
Like
I didn't recognize her. I didn't recognize her in this movie.
I was just gonna say I didn't know it was her, and I was like, "Who is this girl? This girl is gonna be like a star." And I looked up as Sienna Miller, and I remember I think I've done that twice before. Seen her in a movie, didn't recognize her, and be like, "Who is that girl?"
I had the same reaction with Linda
good.
Cardellini, by the way, in The Founder. I didn't realize that was her.
Yeah,
kind of the same thing. But yeah, so she's. I mean, it's all the pieces are there, but it just doesn't come together. And maybe halfway through, I was like, I'm not enjoying this the way I was hoping to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it starts off, the first act I thought was pretty engaging. And, the reason that Ben Affleck relocates from Boston.
Thing. It's the first hour is all set up.
Yeah.
So you're like, wait a minute. The story starting now, like after all the setup.
Yeah, but then all the air like deflates from the balloon. Like it just all tension, all urgency. It just becomes this like, now he's down here doing this thing and someone's bothering him, but don't worry, he'll kill him. And like, and then it just moves on to the next thing.
You know what bugged me too, and maybe this is just me, but the character felt very anachronistic in his worldview.
I remember you writing about this.
Oh, did I? Where he's always like, we should get along with black people. One day we will. It was like that.
Yeah, it's like the guy's gay. I don't care. Leave him alone.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, he's a weird character, right? Like, because he is supposed to be a good guy. Yeah. He's got a heart of gold, but he's an awful person.
Right.
Right? Like, that's why it felt all so confusing that he had all these, like, really loving responses to certain people.
Right.
And very, very excited. It's just, his character really makes no sense.
It's, back in the day, there used to be this TV show called Highlander, which I'm sure you've heard of, right?
Yeah.
And the premise, it's this immortal, right? And it's Duncan MacLeod.
I know where you're going.
And every episode would be like, oh, here's Duncan MacLeod during this era, and here's Duncan MacLeod during this era. And the thing that I realized after the fact is he was never on the wrong side of history.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like him during slavery time, and he'd be like, hey, this is wrong what you're doing. And that's fine because we need to relate to him, but I'm like, people's views change over time. Social views change over time. So, like, I almost, it would have been more realistic to me to have a character who is sort of, he's doing stuff that we look at now and we're like, oh, I don't know about that. But we still...
Or at least he could, He could begin one way and come out the other way or something, but it's like you have to start them off.
He had this anachronistic, progressive view of the world, which it was distracting to me after a while.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. So again, another swing and a miss. Live by Night. I was genuinely looking forward to this, and I would say this was a genuine disappointment for me.
Yeah, and every single person I've talked to has had the same
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even something I'd be like, oh, watch it on streaming or whatever. I'm just like, you're not going to gain anything from watching it. It's it's just.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
it's just weird that it was so like limp.
Yeah, and you want to unpack it a little bit and figure out why. I mean, they were positioning it as some kind of an Oscar type movie, and it's like, no way. It isn't that.
Yeah.
What is an Oscar type movie is the other movie I watched, which is XXX, Return of Xander Cage. And by Oscar, I mean Oscar Mayer Wiener, which you should eat while you're watching this movie because
I'm all ears on this one.
So this movie. So this is an interesting one because I was seeing certain reviews from people who I didn't read their reviews, but I saw their initial reactions. They're like, "Man, it was a lot more fun than I expected." Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of interesting. So I went in, and I was not expecting that, but I was like, I was open to being surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And no, it's pretty much the exact flavor of shit that you expect when you see the title XXX Return of Xander Cage. There are no surprises to be had in this. This is not a surprise, pleasant or otherwise. It's you buy your ticket knowing it's shit.
Well, and when you say that, I mean, is it? We were saying it looks like a movie out of time.
And it
back when
That's really what it is. It's funny, actually. We're talking about Ben Affleck as sort of this anachronistic good guy. That's kind of what Vin Diesel as Triple X feels like, because he's like 50 now, and he's
Right.
like surfing. He's like skiing on trees and skateboarding down mountains, and
Right.
And it felt like he was pushing it when the first Triple X came out, and he was like 35.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's like, hey, come on, Dad, like.
right.
And it's the first scene of the film where we're reintroduced to Vin Diesel, who apparently he died in the Ice Cube Triple X movie, which I wasn't aware of that. So they somehow he like faked his death, but he's like, he's in like South America, and he climbs some scaffolding to do something, and he skis off these trees, and then he skateboards down this mountain. And what was he doing? He was like hooking up a cable connection so that everybody in this impoverished village can get cable. and one of the like his hot girlfriend. By the way, Triple X, Xander Cage, is the most sexually desirable person on Earth based on this movie. It keeps reminding us of that, like every 20 minutes. Like just women are just like, whenever he walks by. But
he can get you free cable. So
yeah, somebody's like, why are you? Why don't you just have them pay for cable or something? He's like, and give all that money to those fat cats in their boardrooms. It's like one of those, and you're like.
like, dude, grow up.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm glad these people in this impoverished village don't need like food and so, no cable. So I was like, okay, that's a little odd, but that's like the whole movie where it's doing that whole thing like, well, I'm to the extreme, and the comment I made was like, it would be a great parody of action movies, kind of in a Team America way, if it had the self-awareness for it. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because some people have responded, we're like, no, it has self-awareness because it has certain people who are commenting on that and whatnot. And there's one point where like so Triple X is brought back in, and what's her name? Toni Collette is like the new Sam Jackson character, and she like introduces him to like the military people who are going to help him, and like the head military guy, this beefcake guy, is like, yeah, you need to stop with all the Red Bull and Mountain Dew or something like that. And somebody's like, see, that's self-awareness. I'm like, no, that's lame, because the movie doesn't know what is it trying to say exactly,
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a friggin' mess. It's so stupid, guys. It's funny because like when you start picking apart the logic of a movie like this while you're watching it, to me that's the problem, right?
Right.
There's one part where Donnie Yen is like the villain. And Donnie Yen is great, by the way. Like, if they would just take all of his footage and cut it together, I'll pay the $10 for that, because he's great, right? And so at one point they're on this like tropical island, and he gets on this motorcycle that turns into like a water motorcycle,
right?
And he just takes off onto the ocean. Okay, so he's on this motorcycle, right? And he's like riding the waves
with like, wheels.
Yeah, it's like wheels, but it has like like ski parts at the bottom.
Okay.
And he's just going off, and it's Vin Diesel's doing that, and I'm watching, and I'm like where are you gonna go? Like, you just took off into the ocean. Like, this isn't gonna get you very far.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I'm like figuring out the logic or lack thereof of that, and I'm like, okay, I'm not the audience for this movie. I don't know who the audience for it is, to be honest. But it feels, the last time this thing was successful was 2002.
Wow.
Well,
it's funny because I saw someone, and this might have been with your thing again, commenting that because you would imagine that this was a way for a studio to keep Vin Diesel happy in between Fast and Furious movies, but this isn't even from that same studio.
No, this is Paramount,
right?
Who has picked it up. The first two films were from Sony, but Paramount saw gold in them dar hills.
Well, it did make $20 million this weekend.
Well, I mean, domestically, it's whatever. I mean, this is an international box office movie, right? And I would imagine, I mean, it cost like $75 million. So, I mean, you have to imagine they'll make that. I mean, they'll at least double that, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, again, look at the cast. It's like Donnie Yen and Ruby Rose and this Indian actress whose name I don't want to. I'm going to screw it up, but apparently she's well known. You know, so it's playing purely for. What I said in my review is that it's a monument to Vin Diesel's image of himself.
Right.
And I truly feel that way because it lacks the kind of irony necessary for that to work. And you picture somebody like The Rock in a movie like this, and I think The Rock's persona is such where you could see it working. Because The Rock doesn't take himself seriously in the way I feel that Vin Diesel does.
Right.
And I'm not hating on Vin Diesel because whatever, but I mean, I've said before on this show, Vin Diesel's not a star. Dominic Toretto's a star.
Yes.
So this is more proof of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of things that were last popular in the early 2000s, M. Night Shyamalan has a new movie out.
Right, yeah.
In fact, Signs came out the same summer as Triple X.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So this one I have not seen, but you have.
Split.
This is Split, starring James McAvoy, and somebody did spoil the ending for me, though.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah,
and it's like, I don't even...
Somebody was like, hey, you want to know the ending of Split? I'm like, I really don't. Here's what happens. I'm like, I just said I don't want to know.
Right.
So I do know the ending. Now, that being said, people are listening, and I would expect that many of them do not want it spoiled. So talk around the film if you can.
Yeah, I will do that. And my general review of Split is that I've always stood by M. Night Shyamalan's side. And even when I did not like his movies, I'm like, this was not good. Like, this was really not good. But I know he's a good filmmaker, and I really believe he's still got more good films to go. And it's really been cool to see him on this little bit of an upswing here, starting with The Visit last year. Like when it's a Blumhouse movie, so it's like $5 million, really contained story. And I liked that one. I didn't love it, but I liked it enough. But I was like, this is the right track for him. Like, that's what he does. He makes these little, kind of thriller suspense things. And that's what this is too. I think it had a little bit of a bigger budget, but it's very contained. Just from the trailer, alone, you get 3 girls who are kidnapped by this guy who you find out has 23 personalities living inside of him.
I hear it's like a tour de force for James McAvoy.
Yeah, he's very good. Everybody is, actually. And one girl in particular, what's her name? Anya Taylor-Joy, I think. Okay. She's sort of, it features 3, but she's sort of the lead in terms of the film, and she's very strong. She does a lot by not saying much at all, and she's really impressive. I guess she was in that movie The Witch, which I didn't see. Okay. A lot of people liked her in that too. But anyway, I enjoyed this movie, and I saw a lot of the strengths of Shyamalan in it, and I saw some of his weaknesses. I'd say overall, it's pretty good.
Okay.
I think for being what it is, a movie about someone kidnapped in a basement and a lot of confusion about what's going on, I think 10 Cloverfield Lane is a better movie.
Sure.
With that very similar premise. And the reason I say that is, and because I knew, I hesitate to even do it now, but like, it's building towards something, right? As Shyamalan movies do, and as this movie's obviously got to have some sort of, especially with a villain who's got such an interesting, characteristic, it has to be building towards something.
Yeah.
And I feel like there were times in the movie where I was just thinking about what's that going to be.
I see.
Rather than the moment I was in. And I felt like a lot of the stuff that was happening in between, they did have some nice moments during the film where you're like, well, what if they tried this and da-da-da-da-da. But I felt like they weren't enough. Like there was a moment where I felt like we were just passing time to get to the end.
I see. And
whereas 10 Cloverfield Lane had a lot of, now we're handling this moment in this situation, and now we're handling this moment in this situation, and they were all very interesting, and I still didn't know who to trust, and I didn't know who to believe, and I didn't know what the situations even meant. And so it actually occurred to me almost like 2/3 into the movie, I started thinking about 10 Cloverfield Lane, and maybe that's a little unfair to compare them, but I think people, if they were intrigued by the trailer and they go, I think they're going to enjoy it. Okay. But I don't think it's going to blow anybody's minds.
So, without saying what it is, what did you think of the I wouldn't even call it a twist, but sort of the button at the end of the film.
This is hard. I mean, I hesitate to do this again because, like I said, I struggled enough thinking about the ending as I was going.
Okay.
And I really was. I was like, well, what's the ending? So it's like, I hate to be that guy. This is such a hard thing to dance around. I clapped.
Okay.
I clapped out loud.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is interesting. And just, I mean, we're talking about Shyamalan being on kind of an upswing. He's also talked now about doing an Unbreakable sequel.
Correct.
Is that something that you feel like now you'd be interested in, given that he does sort of seem to be on the comeback trail? Because we talked about Unbreakable a few weeks ago, if you remember.
I was just going to say, I re-fell in love with that movie just 2 weeks ago. Like, I caught probably 3/4 of it and was just like, man, this movie, it was better than I remembered it. Like, things that I sort of remembered as being like, oh, the scene went on too long. Like, they played well for me this time. And I was just like, yeah, I would definitely be on board for that.
Yeah, I mean, I
hope he gets the opportunity.
I think that, and I don't know how that would work because he seems to be making movies for Blumhouse now, and Disney did Unbreakable, so some kind of rights issues involved. I don't know if that, I mean, I have no idea. I don't know if that's the case. But I mean, I feel like given how saturated we are in superhero mythologies, there's room for him to do something really interesting with sort of the stuff that everybody knows now. You know what I mean? Like that was the textbook superhero origin before we were sort of inundated with them.
It's pretty amazing how ahead of its time that movie was.
Yeah.
In terms of the story it's telling. Because now, at the time, some people might have been like, what? Okay. Like, if you say so.
Which I think was the reaction to that movie.
Yeah, but now everybody would get it.
When you think, because that movie came out fall of 2000, and what had really been out at that time, like X-Men. The first X-Men had come out a few months earlier.
Right.
That's it,
The Spider-Man hadn't even been out yet. Yeah,
no
you're
Spider-Man.
right.
I mean, so it really was a forerunner. So I definitely, I don't know that I want to see, a whole plethora of these things, but I definitely would not be averse to sort of expanding the world of Unbreakable.
Totally agree.
All right, well, that's a lot of the new releases. Let's move on to, we got some letters and then we got some headlines to talk about. So real quick, we have a listener letter. This is from Derek, who emailed us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. And he says, just finished your Empire Strikes Back commentary, and this is one of your best yet. I love that you're going through all the Star Wars movies, but once a year is too long. Speed this up. Which is kind of true. I was actually thinking about that, and I was like, yeah, it's going to be like 6 years by the time we go through. we should. I mean, I don't see any reason why not to just crank out, a couple. Like, let's just do Jedi in a few months, and let's,
I'm game. I love doing it.
The reaction, I will say, to the Empire commentary has been really above and beyond my expectations, certainly. So I mean, it's really nice to know that people enjoy hearing us talk over one of their favorite movies,
Yeah, it really means a lot. It's fun to do, and it's fun to know that it's enjoyed.
I had a friend text me who has never listened to the show, but he's a big Star Wars fan, so I had sent him a link to our Rogue One episode and the commentary, and he said, today was a rough day at work, and all I could think about was just in a couple more hours I get back in my car and I get to keep listening to your commentary track.
Oh, that's great.
It's kind of a nice thing to say,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So I think, I mean, maybe we can do a Jedi commentary and time it for like when Rogue One hits home video or something,
Yeah, but like late April or something like that.
Yeah, why not?
I'm in.
All right. I guess it's gonna. You twisted our arm, Derek.
Yeah, and as we speed that along, I have not seen the Phantom Menace all the way through. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe at least 10 years.
Well, there you go.
It's one of those things that I keep thinking, like, man, I just want to put that in. I know people hate on it a lot, and I want to revisit it. So, yeah, speeding it along. We'll see.
Well, I think that'll be really interesting then for you to, because I watch Phantom Menace semi-regularly now because, I'm watching it. I watch it with the boys, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And by the way, actually, I mean, talking of that, I this past week I went through all 4 Indiana Jones movies with the kids.
Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, they've seen them before, but now, my older ones, they're 10 and 8 now, so they're much more, like, they can engage with them on a more sort of an intellectual level,
Mm-hmm.
And it's very interesting. It was fun to watch their reactions. We watching Temple of Doom, which I really enjoy. I know a lot of people dislike that movie strongly.
Mm-hmm.
I really do enjoy it. I think there's points where it's kind of painfully racist a little bit.
Right.
But the fun of watching that movie for me was watching the boys' faces when we go into like the bug room.
Right.
And just seeing them sort of almost jump out of their skin. That was a blast. And then we went through the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull just 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, man, that movie does not improve.
I followed a little bit of the comments on your post that you did on that. Yeah. I had to agree with you where it's not the worst story in the world, it's the execution.
Well, and it's funny because people always talk about the nuking the fridge thing. I have zero problems with the nuking the fridge thing. I really don't.
I agree with you. I don't hate it.
Because to me, in the Temple of Doom, they fall out of an airplane in a rubber raft.
Yeah,
and that's just as idiotic as this fridge thing. So it's kind of like, well, conceit of the genre, whatever. But it feels so off. I want to call it Indiana Jones and the Very Brady Crystal Skull, because it feels like the reunion movie.
It's just off. It's when you watch them so close together, it's like noticeably off.
See, that's what always confused me, because they said when they were gearing up for these things, they were like, okay, so Steven Spielberg, like me and Janusz Kaminski, we screened the previous 3 because we wanted this one to fit right in. And I'm like, this one looks absolutely nothing like the last 3 movies. Like, you're drunk if you think these movies look like that movie looks like the other 3.
Yeah. So I think that somebody needs to have an intervention and separate Steven Spielberg from Janusz Kaminski.
I agree.
They need.
I agree, and it's not that he's not a talented cinematographer, but I think his style is no longer befitting of. It does not match. It's weird.
I mean,
because
it depends
he's
on the movie, obviously. But I mean,
Yes.
I think I said this to you during Bridge of Spies. I was like, you know what, I'm kind of done with Janusz Kaminski.
Yeah, that halo over every single object.
The hazy, the shafts of light and.
Yeah, I mean,
a little much.
Yeah, it's very weird. Like everything feels heavenly or like ethereal or something like that, and it's not. And that works for certain moments, but there's no groundedness to any of his movies now because of that sort of style. Yeah, I'm kind of over it too.
Yeah, so kind of a shame.
So, yeah. Which I did not know this until this past week, that Janusz Kaminski was the DP on Jerry Maguire.
Yes.
Which actually makes a lot of sense.
Apparently they say in the commentary that he was so important in not making it look like a rom-com.
Yeah, and that's a gorgeous looking movie, if I remember right. I mean, it does have that sort of warm glow to it, and it's befitting of that film. But yeah, I don't want every movie to look like that.
Yeah, a little variety, Yeah, and I think that the Indiana Jones films have a responsibility to look like the other Indiana Jones films.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I think that's the biggest problem is that I'm very curious what happens with this next one. First of all, if it ever happens.
Yeah.
Which is an open question right now. Have we heard anything about it?
I thought it was pretty set.
But yeah. I mean, they announced it like a year ago, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little ways out. I want to say 2020 or something. They're expecting it.
I mean, it's not like Harrison Ford is getting any younger, right? I think they're fighting actuarial tables a little bit.
I would love to know what their plan is with that franchise for sure. I mean, purchasing it, obviously Disney has plans for it, but I've
said before, I think that this is meant to be Harrison Ford's triumphant, hopefully, farewell. Mm-hmm. And then they'll wait till a point where obviously Harrison Ford can't come back.
Right.
So 10 years from now, you know what I mean? Because I think Harrison Ford obviously feels an ownership of it, and I think that Kathleen Kennedy and I would assume Frank Marshall and everybody has a fealty to that, which is understandable. That's not to say I don't think the character will, ride into the sunset along with Harrison Ford. Mm-hmm. I think it's too valuable an IP.
Right.
Anywho, that is that. So we started talking about the Star Wars commentary, a little tangent, but do have some headlines to discuss, and just to start things off with a little bit of sad news to get out of the way, Miguel Ferrer passed away.
Yeah.
One of those, like, everybody knows Miguel Ferrer.
Yeah.
Like, he has one of those
maybe not
faces.
by his name, but
yeah. Like, oh, hey, that guy.
Faces.
Yeah.
Yep.
First time I saw him was in RoboCop.
Right.
He was Bob Morton. I had to kill Bob Morton because he made a mistake. So Miguel Ferrer, I don't know if you knew this, he is was George Clooney's first cousin.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So Miguel Ferrer's mom was Rosemary Clooney.
Oh, interesting.
Whose brother is George Clooney's dad.
Wow.
Yeah. So
this was yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, this is one of those things where when I read the headline at first, I didn't know who he was by his name.
Yeah.
So I went and looked him up, and I was like, oh, and it was just you remember him from so many things. And the one I think of, too, is in Hot Shots.
Hot Shots 2, yeah.
Part 2, yeah, and he's the guy who's like, war, it's fantastic.
Right. And he's so perfect in that film because his persona was built on being kind of this, like, real, like, stolid, kind of dark character, Mm-hmm. And Hot Shots Part 2 is about poking fun at that archetype that he plays. He's one of these guys who, if you've seen him in so many things. He was a regular on NCIS Los Angeles, but above and beyond that, I mean, he was in like a Star Trek movie, and he was in Iron Man 3, and just one of those guys,
Mm-hmm.
a really dependable
Magnum.
character. Yeah.
He's in every series you've ever heard of in the 80s.
In the 80s,
going through his thing right now, yeah.
His father was Jose Ferrer, by the way, who's famous for originating the role of Cyrano de Bergerac on screen.
Oh, wow.
So I read this, and he was young, by the way, 61, another victim of cancer, unfortunately, but just kind of bummed out. And I wanted to take a moment to say, thanks for all of the work you did. He's another actor. He's the glue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So moving on, obviously we are entering Oscar season, and once you enter Oscar season, you also enter Razzie season.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about the Razzies as a concept?
I think I used to find them amusing, and now I find them just kind of cruel.
It's funny how you and I are on the exact same page when it comes to that,
Yeah, and perhaps a little bit of a played out concept or something.
I mean, what was the intent behind their inception?
I could see it sort of as a Mad Magazine era, National Lampoon's send up of something, such a self-serious thing like the Oscars. And, so you would say the ironic choice, worst actor is such and such from Jaws 4 or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, okay. But then, this is the 37th annual Razzie Awards, and worst picture, they have Batman v Superman as one of them, and you're like, yeah, okay. Well, the truth is, we've been ragging on that for a year.
Yeah, it's true. When you look at the list of nominees, at least as far as best picture or worst picture, excuse me, I'm not going to quibble with anything on the list.
Sure.
Right. Batman v Superman. Yeah, it's not one of the best movies of the year. Independence Day 2, Zoolander 2. You hated that one.
I forgot it. I keep forgetting it exists.
But then you look at like worst actor, and it's like Ben Affleck for Batman v Superman. And it's like, really? Like, even people who disliked that movie can acknowledge that he is far from the worst thing in that movie,
Yeah, and Henry Cavill as Superman. Like,
even right.
Yeah, and then what was it? Even Ben Stiller for Zoolander 2. It's like, yeah, I hated Zoolander 2, but Ben Stiller, we like him doing that character. That's why they made a sequel. It just, the sequel wasn't any good. Like,
right.
He didn't do anything different from the first movie we all like. It's just weird. I wonder if the internet age is sort of...
Yeah, it's like mockery overload a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's something one podcast that you and I have both enjoyed is How Did This Get Made? And I think that show continues to be quite good. But it also has spawned like a whole raft of imitators.
Yeah,
and they're all, and the impetus behind it is always like how much can we sort of take a steamer on this movie?
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of realize, sorry, real quick. I mean, you realize like they're all kind of doing episodes about the same movies.
Yeah.
Right, so it's like they have their Howard the Duck episode, and they have their Howard the Duck episode, and, and it's like, all right, I get it. It's not a good movie, like
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying?
No, but I was gonna say they come from they do it so perfectly where it never feels hateful.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they are film fans and they love these people, and sometimes, they're never actively rooting against. Like I hate this actor. You know what I mean? It's more just like. This combination that this film came up with is baffling. Let's examine it.
Yeah.
And they're quick to say the things they love about these people and what. I don't know. That was just one of those things where you could imagine 50 versions of that podcast, and they all feel a certain way, but somehow they have this weird positive vibe to it. I don't know.
Yeah. No. Well, it's. I mean, I don't want to turn this into like this is why I'm awesome. But part of the reason I started the Nostalgia Theater Show was a response to a lot of these things.
Right.
Because I was kind of, and it's a very different kind of show, but I was kind of like, instead of constantly looking back and shitting all over stuff, why don't we like celebrate this stuff and let's find the people who made it and let's like get into their appreciation for it and,
right.
And just have an overall positive experience. So I feel like your point is very solid that the internet age has made us so cynical that I feel like in that sense the Razzies have sort of outlived their purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I tell a story? It's just like a complete non sequitur here, but like
sure.
I just got to do
by the way,
because
worst supporting actress Seal Award for Independence Day 2. Like really?
I know. It's ridiculous.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
I may have told this story on here before, but I feel like this is the only place I can really tell this. So anyway, for a while, I was doing some screenwriting, and I was this one girl who was becoming an agent at this place. She was sort of interested in helping me out, and I was giving her some of the stuff I had written, and she's like, "Yeah, this is all great. This is all great." She's like, "But you got to write something that's going to sell." I was like, "Okay." What do you mean? Like, what? So she's like, "Let me give you the script. Read the script." And the script she gave me was Dirty Grandpa.
Okay.
And she goes, "You got to read this. Like, this script just sold. You got to write something like this." And I was like, "Okay." So I read it, and I was like, as I was reading, I was like, I hate this. Like, it's just,
wow. It
was mean for the sake of mean. It was gross for the sake of gross. Like, there wasn't even a good story there. And I was like, I don't want to write something like this. And anyway, and I remember thinking like, I can't even imagine this ever getting made. And then like 5, 6, 7, maybe even years later, it did get made, and I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, "Get out of here!" I was like, "That movie, I can't believe it."
So funny.
So then it got made, and I was like really curious, and then of course it didn't do very well, and reviews weren't good, obviously, like they would be. But I haven't heard anything about it. I've never seen it. I'm not going to rag on the end product because I don't know what it is, but it was just very funny to see it then just be this like sort of January dump movie, and I'm like, I remember that thing. And then now seeing it nominated for Worst Picture, I was like, it's just been this funny journey with Dirty Grandpa. So,
like you can track your own life's journey, your progression of life milestones by where Dirty Grandpa was.
Yeah, it's just such a funny, weird.
What I do wonder is like, what is Robert De Niro thinking? And what I mean by that is not, I mean, I haven't seen the movie, but I mean, just in general, what is it about a film like this? Because he's Robert effing De Niro, you know what I mean?
Right.
This script hits his desk. You have to imagine his agent is like, "Hey, Bobby, check this out."
Right.
And is he like, "Hey, I've always wanted to have a movie where I'm sitting naked and masturbating while my grandson walks in." Like,
I don't know. I remember hearing when Jack Nicholson did Anger Management.
Sure.
And he was like, because they're like, why? What's he doing in this movie? And he was just like, I just wanted to make something that was modern. Like Adam Sandler makes these modern comedies people love him. I just wanted to I want to try something different. And I was like, good for you, man. Like, that's cool.
But Robert De Niro has been doing something different for, I think, longer than he was doing the other stuff at this point.
Yeah. I don't even know if I even had a point with that story, but I thought that was interesting. The perspective of someone who is seasoned and doesn't need it.
Sure.
So you got to wonder, if Robert De Niro either because is it a paycheck movie? Maybe, I don't know.
Sure.
Or did he really think like, this is kind of nuts, and I get to be a little like obscene and be silly and like, Who knows?
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, so those are the Razzies. Moving on. Speaking of Robert De Niro, Oscar-winning Robert De Niro, there are a lot of Oscar nominations that were announced just earlier today, actually.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about this because I don't know. I think we've talked about before how I care less about the Oscars sort of the older I get.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just for the sake, putting a stick pin in time, Best Picture nominees, pretty interesting assortment, I would say. We have Arrival, Fences, Hacksaw Ridge, Hell or High Water, which I'm happy about that, Hidden Figures, La La Land, Lion, which was your favorite movie of last year, Manchester by the Sea, and Moonlight.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say a bunch of your and my top 10 movies made it into the Best Picture stakes for this year.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see Hacksaw Ridge, but not disappointed. I mean, it's a solid
surprised to
movie.
see Hell or High Water.
Hell or High Water, I was a little surprised about that. I haven't seen Fences. That's the only one I have not. That
I'm curious what you think of that.
See.
I'm very curious what you think of that.
Yeah, I've been wanting to. Ever since I saw the trailer like months ago, I've
seen that one twice now.
Oh.
Because I watched it at a screening and then I watched it at home with my wife. That's definitely a performance movie. I don't know that I would consider that a Best Picture, and I don't know that it's a serious contender, but definitely you watch it for the performances.
Yeah. Well, and then on that note, I guess I didn't bring it up, but I saw Moonlight finally.
Oh, okay. What'd you think of that one?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good, I don't remember if you said this, but like a slice of life movie where you basically you follow this character and you get dumped into his life like at 3 points.
Yes.
In 3 different ages. And I was really with it. I thought it was, yeah, it's a good slice of life movie. I mean, you jump right in, you jump right out of his life. It's not like there's like this solid 3-act structure to it, but I thought it was really compelling. I thought all 3 actors who played the same character, I thought all did a really good job.
Mahershala Ali is amazing in that movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we in the San Francisco Critics Circle, we gave Moonlight Best Picture, and we gave Mahershala Ali Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, he makes quite an impression.
Yeah, and he's had a good year because he was the villain in Luke Cage, which is that Netflix Marvel series. Mm-hmm. And he's been kicking around for a while because the first time I saw him was in Predators. Back in like 2010, he was one of the people on the alien planet.
Funny, I don't even remember that, but yeah.
But yeah, so I will say one omission that feels egregious to me is Amy Adams was not nominated for Best Actress, even though Arrival was nominated.
For so many things, and she is the beating heart of that movie.
Yeah, I mean,
very weird.
When I look at the Best Actress category, Meryl Streep and Florence Foster Jenkins, it feels like people just kind of voted on autopilot for her.
Right.
Which is not to say she's not good. She's always good, but I don't feel like it's an Oscar caliber performance, especially when there were stronger portrayals this past year. Yeah. So that's kind of a shame.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the Oscars. I think our common reaction is
yeah.
Basically.
Well, I mean, I guess we should say La La Land, the tie for the most nominations ever. Right?
Yeah, it's been
14.
interesting to see the La La Land backlash and then the backlash against the backlash.
Right.
And
yes.
It's like a cyclical thing. I'm wondering what phase we'll be in by the time the Oscars actually come around.
It's funny, isn't it? It's almost like a shame, too, because I love that movie.
Yeah.
I think it's I think it's a very successful movie in what it's aiming to do. But it is funny then, as soon as it becomes like a thing and it becomes super popular, yeah, of course there has to be like this shadow cast over it.
Well, I don't know. Did you happen to see
of the week?
Did you see SNL this past week with Aziz Ansari?
Yeah.
The skit where he's being like interrogated by the cops because he dared to be like just okay about La La Land.
Yeah.
And it's been very funny because I feel like that's a skit that was written by people who have been engaging in that like online.
Yeah, right.
Like I mean, my point is that skit is so specific in who it's aimed at that unless you talk movies with people online, you wouldn't really have an awareness of that.
Yeah,
Yeah. But regardless, that is the Oscars. Real quick, another headline. That Neil Blomkamp Aliens sequel. Remember we were talking about that like 3 years ago?
Yeah.
It looks like it's not going to happen.
So what? I saw this headline and I didn't have time to click on it. What's the why? What do we have to go on?
So somebody asked Blomkamp, like, what are the chances of your Alien movie happening? And he wrote slim. That was his tweet.
Interesting. It seems like there was some enthusiasm for it, and then Ridley Scott kind of hijacked.
Yeah, Ridley Scott kiboshed it a little bit. It feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you?
Well,
see
maybe
that?
not hijacked. He did make Prometheus first.
So he's kind of become the grand poobah of the Alien franchise over at Fox. It seems like.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think his whole deal was no Aliens sequel until I do my Prometheus sequel. The Prometheus sequel, which is called Alien Covenant. Which, did you see the trailer for that?
Yes.
So I have to be very honest. I was singularly underwhelmed by that trailer.
Yeah, it didn't feel like there was anything sort of distinguishing about it.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, here's another Alien movie.
Yeah.
You know? So I was kind of disappointed in my disappointment.
Right.
You know? And so I think a lot of people were hoping for this Blomkamp sequel, which was meant to be something that picked up from Aliens, you know, which just turned 30 last year, and, you know, picked it up however many years later. But I don't know. It seems like a shame. I read that Sigourney Weaver was just over the moon about the script.
Mm.
So it seems like a strange thing for them to... I'm curious, like, assuming Alien Covenant does well, does that increase the likelihood of this Blomkamp movie coming, or does it kibosh it in favor of whatever Ridley Scott wants to do?
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah, maybe it's heading in directions that we, the fans, want, but Ridley has his own sort of...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think I said this before. I feel like Ridley Scott looks at the Alien sequels the way Steven Spielberg looks at the Jaws sequels.
Sure.
I mean, notwithstanding how amazing Aliens is, but I think he's always felt a little bit like proprietary about it.
Sure.
So this is kind of his chance to retain some control. And I don't say that in a negative way, like, how dare Ridley Scott. I mean, if I'm Ridley Scott and I did the first film and it became, you know, this amazing experience and it launched this thing, I would feel a little bit like, oh, you're going in directions that I'm not necessarily a fan of, you know?
Right.
Kind of like James Cameron with Terminator.
Right.
I mean, have you heard the latest now about James Cameron?
I did. Yeah, that he is interested in being a part of a Terminator sequel.
So the way it works, the rights are set to revert back to him in 2 years for at least the first Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how this works, but the IP
right
reverts back. So if you remember, when they made Terminator Genesis, that film and its, you know, non-existent sequels were fast-tracked to come out very quickly because they had to beat they had to beat the clock of the rights reverting.
Mm-hmm.
So that movie came out and it was just a catastrophe. Nobody liked it. So now Plan B is that the people who are currently holding the rights will work with Cameron in some capacity. Cameron will not direct because he only does Pandora movies now.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But Tim Miller, who directed Deadpool, who is not doing Deadpool 2, by the way, is in line to possibly direct a Cameron-inspired conclusion to the Terminator series.
That was the one word that stood out to me for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And if Cameron is involved with this and it's a conclusion, I'm interested again. I mean, I've said this is the fourth time I've said this, but I am interested in giving Terminator sequel a shot because my friend and I were watching Terminator 2. It was on cable the other day, and we were just saying this movie is so perfect. It doesn't warrant a sequel.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You can't keep sending people back in time. It just
Right.
stops making sense. So to actually put a conclusion to this from the person who kicked it off, I mean, that I'm very much interested in.
So what I'm wondering is, will this involve somehow trying to make sense of everything that's come since, or will it be will it be yet another, no, ignore everything else?
I hope so. But then which ones do you ignore? I mean, do you already ignore 3? Because I know there's people that like it, people that don't like it. 4, a little less so. 5, there's degrees. I mean, where do you...
Yeah, I mean, I to be honest, I feel like if there's one person who could somehow find a way to contextualize everything and make it somehow fit together, it would be James Cameron.
Right.
Does he have any interest in that? I don't know, but that's. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I didn't like Terminator 4 or 5. I've never seen the TV show. But you have all these multiple timelines. I feel like you could, if you wanted to wind everything towards some kind of a definitive conclusion, it might be interesting to see how they try to make everything fit together. You know.
It'd be funny if the franchise itself was the Terminator and then it dropped into the lava and it was writhing around, turning into all its previous incarnations
right.
at the end of T2. It's like, you know what I mean? The TV series and then the
I tried rewatching
Christian Bale.
I tried rewatching Terminator Genesis recently. It was on Hulu. And it's just a mess, you know?
Isn't it such a shame?
It really is.
Like, it doesn't have to be. I just don't understand how you get so far down the wrong road.
Yeah, it's kind of breathtaking how badly they screwed that up.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of screwing up old properties, I wanted to bring this up. They have a Chips movie coming out.
Uh-huh.
All right. Now, do you remember Chips, the TV show?
Chips was always like the show that would come on after the thing I was watching, and I turned the channel.
Yeah, see, so for those of you who are too young to remember, which is most people, by the way, who would be listening to this show would not remember Chips in any substantive, meaningful way. It was a show that managed to last like 7 seasons, and it's about traffic cops.
Right.
I mean, that's the show. It's Eric Estrada and Larry Wilcox riding around and pulling people over for speeding. That's Chips.
Oh, it's California Highway Patrol.
California Highway Patrol. And it tells you something about the lack of alternative viewing options that this thing managed to make it to syndication level of episodes.
Right.
It's insanity. So again, this is like 1977 to the mid-'80s it lasted. So they're now making a movie of Chips.
Right.
And it's written and directed by Dax Shepard.
Oh, he directed it?
I believe he directed it. Hold on, let me...
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
I knew this was sort of like a... I don't know what you call it. You know, this was like a passion project kind of thing for him. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, he directed it. Yeah. I just question the necessity of a movie like this. Why don't we play some of the audio?
Sure.
And then we'll talk about it.
We're the California Highway Patrol. This job is crucial. Without us out there,
Come on, what?
no one could get hurt!
California Highway Patrol think they have some crooked cops. They want you to go on the inside.
Go undercover within the department? That's awesome.
We put you with a rookie named John Baker.
So who am I playing?
Francis Llewellyn Poncherello.
Are the first 2 female names?
So I feel like a better title for this movie is Gay Panic.
A surprising amount for a movie.
They managed to pack in a lot of gay panic into like a 2-minute trailer. Which
it's funny.
It feels like something out of like 1993.
Yeah, a lot of
penis.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
It's weird because maybe it's just because we live in slightly more progressive times, but the level of ew, cootie is gay was really, that's what stuck out to me.
And say you even had a moment where you know the guy face accidentally landed in the guy's crotch or something. It's like, well,
that's one. You get
fine.
one.
That's it's your joke and whatever. But like, have that in the movie somewhere. But like your selling point, like that was the thing that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was really weird.
And this, so Dax Shepard, in addition to starring and having written it, he plays John Baker, played by Larry Wilcox on the show, and Frank Poncherello, who was Eric Estrada, is played by Michael Pena. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of Michael Pena, but I'm like, this is the wrong movie for him because I feel like he's going to take the blame.
I don't know. It's odd. I didn't get a lot out of this trailer personally, and then I saw it when I saw Split. They played it in front of the movie.
How did the crowd react?
People are cracking up.
Were they really? Okay.
Yeah.
It's like every one of these movies is trying to do a 21 Jump Street thing now.
Yes.
The difference, again, for me, the difference is like nobody remembers Chips. The audience of that show is not the audience for this movie. So who are you? Like, what's 21 Jump Street? I feel like it came out at a point where enough people remembered the show for there to be a little bit of razzmatazz there, you know?
Well, they did a good job of making exactly what you just said. They made a movie where if you enjoyed the show, you could enjoy a sort of subversive take on it.
Yes.
But even if you didn't know the show, it was like humor that was broad and funny enough
Yes.
for you to enjoy as well. And it seems like we're seeing a lot of, like, Baywatch certainly seems to be desperately trying to follow that model.
And that's another one. That's another one.
one.
I was kind of looking forward to Baywatch. And not because I'm a fan of the show, but I was like, oh, The Rock is doing like a Jump Street style version of Baywatch. Well, that sounds interesting to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the trailer just it did nothing for me.
Yeah, I think, well, when you say 21 Jump Street style, then that means, like, I like that 21 Jump Street did it, but I feel like, feels like corporate to me than to have, like, we're going to have a 21 Jump Street style Baywatch. And
Sure.
we're going to have it's like, okay. Like that came from distinct voices.
Yes.
You know, they had an idea and a take on a thing and they did it. And it's like, I don't want to see that applied to all sorts of stuff because then it's not authentic.
Right. Well, and Jonah Hill wrote 21 Jump Street, right?
That could be. I'm not sure.
I feel like
sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he did. And so, I mean, that it certainly explains the comedic style of that movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it really does depend. Like,
Story
on
by
the
Jonah
layers.
Hill. Yeah. So
Yeah.
he came up with the idea.
Yeah.
Another trailer for a property that's being brought back to life, and this is the full trailer for Power Rangers, or should I say Saban's Power Rangers. So let's play some of the audio for that.
Do you feel weird?
We're strong. Insanely strong.
The answer to what is happening to you is here. You five are the Power Rangers.
Did I just hear you say we're Power Rangers?
Is this some kind of joke? We're talking to a wall.
I was kind of expecting a little more.
All right, so if you remember, we saw the teaser trailer a few months ago.
Yep.
And we were both completely apathetic.
Mm-hmm.
Are you more pathetic after seeing the
more pathetic, more synthetic? You know what I felt when I was watching this trailer was, this is not for me.
Yep.
But I get it. That's what I was thinking. I was like, this, like when the Ninja Turtles movie came out and I was younger, and I was like, hell yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like seeing the streets are wet and it's gritty and real, and not gritty, but you know what I'm saying? Like Michelangelo is actually in New York City, and like that, how I felt for that. I'm like, I bet for people who love this show, that's what this looks like. And I'm like, dude, go for it. Like,
yeah.
I get it. I don't think it looks terrible. It doesn't look for me, but I would imagine if you grew up and you're nostalgic for this show, it seems like it would hit that sweet spot.
Yeah, you know, what I thought about, first of all, I want to echo what you're saying, because you and I are not the audience for this.
Right.
And that's okay. I mean, that doesn't mean it shouldn't exist.
Right.
I thought of how much I enjoyed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. And I enjoyed it on behalf of 10-year-old Zachy.
Right.
Not from my current perspective as an adult, but from the kid who would have loved to see it. And I feel like this is that. You know, because Power Rangers, I mean, the show itself, objectively, it's not a good show, objectively. But if you're like 6 years old, 7 years old watching it at the time, you're not seeing all the bad special effects and everything, because you fill in the gaps with your imagination.
Right.
You know, and I know for sure, like we have one of our listeners at Alex Marco on Twitter, he's a regular listener of our show, and he's a big Power Rangers fan. And so I thought of him. I thought of at Alex Marco, because I was like, you know what? I hope he gets the movie that he's hoping for, you know?
Yeah, it's exactly that. I actually had positive feelings as I was watching it. I was like, well, it looks like it's got a budget. For people who are looking forward to this, it looks like it's got a budget. They've got some decent actors.
Now that
in
I
here.
will say, though, $120 million on this movie feels like they're vastly over.
I don't know. It looks like a $120 million movie, but
that feels like about $40 million more than they probably should have spent.
Yeah, I have no idea how this is going to perform.
I'm very curious,
but it's cool. I mean, Elizabeth Banks is the villain. I mean, they got some names going for it. That's cool.
Bryan Cranston.
I don't know. I hope people dig it. That's all.
Bryan Cranston is paying it forward. You got to love that. He's like, you know what? I did the voices of the monsters back in the 90s, and now I'm going to,
Yeah.
You got to love that.
And Bill Hader, I forgot about that.
He's the little robot guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I mean, none of this. I don't.
I know how we sound.
Really.
To you fans.
When
people are talking about Star Wars, and they're like, CO3PO, and you're like, oh, you silly goose.
Yeah,
that's what we sound like.
That's kind of us right now.
Yeah.
But speaking of Star Wars, Brian.
Yes.
Let's talk some Star Wars.
Oh. Snap.
The music is going. We got some big Star Wars news, Brian.
Zachy.
Yes.
Were you wondering, with less than a year away, what the next saga Star Wars movie was going to be called? Episode 8?
It hadn't really occurred to me, to be honest.
Oh, well, I'll tell you anyway, because it actually was released this week.
Really?
So, let's go in order, shall we?
Sure.
Starting at episode 1, we have The Phantom Menace. We have Attack of the Clones. We have Revenge of the Sith. Then we get into A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Then we have The Force Awakens, followed by The Last Jedi.
So it's not Jar Jar's Revenge?
No, that's going to be 9.
Okay.
You're going to realize he's Snoke.
I was going to say.
That's why he looks so, charred and deformed. Yeah, they're hiding his identity.
So The Last Jedi. I love this title. I'm
into it. There's a lot of questions with that. Jedi plural, Jedi singular. Is it Luke? Is it Rey? Is it, I dig it.
So I showed the title to my 10-year-old. I was like, hey, this is what the next one is. And he looked at it and he's like, oh, so Luke is going to die.
Really?
That's what my 10-year-old said. And then I sent it to my brother and he texted me back. He's like, oh, Luke is going to die. I think you're meant to intuit that from the title.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think it's a total red herring. I think that there's a couple things, right? By killing Han Solo in Episode 7, they have bought your fear that Luke will die in this one. But
Sure.
I think that if the movie was called Luke Skywalker Dies in this one, I still wouldn't believe Luke Skywalker dies in this one.
I mean, you can almost assume it's coming, whether it's this one or the third one.
Possibly, but I would even argue... Here's the way I'm thinking about it. I'm kind of like, if you're Lucasfilm, and, Mark Hamill is still around, and Luke Skywalker remains one of the, if not the most beloved character in the Star Wars canon, why wouldn't you keep him around?
Yeah.
Why not? Like, who's to say he needs to die even in the third one?
That is true, but call me naive. But I wonder truly if the people who are making these movies care so much about the stories that they wouldn't keep someone alive if it didn't serve the story properly.
Right, but I think it's less about keeping him alive just to keep him alive, but it's not like the story is set in stone. The stories haven't been written yet.
Yeah, that's true.
The other thing is, we lost Carrie Fisher, which means, by extension, we are going to lose Princess Leia, right?
Right.
Somebody sent me a mock-up thing, which made me laugh and cry at the same time. It says Star Wars, the last one with Princess Leia.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Which,
it's
you're kind of like, huh? Oh,
Yeah.
You have that reaction. But, so we know we need to lose Leia, too. So that means that we're down to just Luke. Unless you include Chewie and but of the human characters.
That's true. And what is my inclination thinking that he has to die? Why does that have to be?
What does it say about you, you psycho?
It's true. He could lead some sort of little Jedi Academy, be like the superintendent at the end.
I think this is called The Last Jedi because it's a showpiece for... That's the other thing, by the way. We got Luke for all of 10 seconds in the last one. They're going to kill him now in the next one?
Right.
That's the other thing, right? I think that it's a showcase for Luke, who is the last Jedi.
Right.
That's why it's called that. That doesn't mean that... I think this is the movie where he is the last Jedi. That's why it's called that. And then after this, he won't be the last Jedi anymore because there will be other Jedi.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he was training other Jedi, wasn't he? So maybe they're scattered to the winds now, and it's like she has to go in search of the last Jedi. I don't know. Could be plural.
Well, but remember, the opening crawl of The Force Awakens said Skywalker, comma, the last Jedi. Right? So it's for sure a reference to Luke, but I don't ascribe finality to it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? But I got to tell you, I'm just looking forward to seeing like all-out Jedi Master Luke, which we have never seen. You know what I mean? In this next one, we're going to get him in full-on Jedi action. Yeah,
and I on a even weirder, surfacey sort of thing, I saw the title, which was the Star Wars letters in red. Yes. With The Last Jedi between it, and it harkened back for me to the Return of the Jedi, lettering, which was in red. And like I remembered having like that record and seeing that, and I was just like, oh, like it just it took me there.
I kind of miss how, at least in the original trilogy, each film had its own distinct logo.
Yeah.
I miss that. Like I get why the reason that they're doing this way is to separate the saga movies from the spin-off movies.
Oh, I see.
Right, the saga movies really foreground the Star Wars part, whereas like Rogue One is just Rogue One and it has its own logo.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah,
it's kind of a shame. Just for the, I mean, even the prequels didn't have their own distinct logos because they were all Episode 1, Episode 2.
Right.
Anyway, other Star Wars news?
Yeah, well, this was I hadn't actually read this thing, so this was one of those things like a Rogue One sort of follow up. Where, just one of those things where people are sort of, when you have the ending of Rogue One, which I guess by now we can say we're past the spoiler wall for this movie, right?
Yeah, at this point.
Yeah, so the very end of Rogue One directly connects seemingly to Episode 4, right? So people were sort of questioning some of the logic of why Princess Leia was involved in this battle, right?
Right.
So now, this was something that I guess this week then Pablo Hidalgo, who is head of the Lucasfilm story group, right? So I think people are tweeting at him all the time with questions.
So it's his job to keep all the continuity somewhat tight in not just the films, but all the licensed material and whatnot.
Yeah. So with this, the battle at Scarif, just above, where they were trying to beam the plans up into the ships, people were like, well, why in the world would Leia be involved in this battle?
Right.
And so I guess someone, I assume, probably tweeted out at him. Oh, no, he was on the Star Wars show.
This is on the Star Wars show podcast, yeah.
And his explanation for that, just for people that have to have this itch scratched, was the plan was always that Leia was going to Tatooine to pick up Obi-Wan, and Radis was going to escort her?
The Admiral, right, who's kind of Admiral Akbar-ish.
Oh, okay, got it. So she and Radis were going to go to Tatooine to pick up Obi-Wan, but then the news of Scarif came in, and that was deemed more important because it's the one warship that they have at this point.
So in other words, why would Leia be there in the Battle of Scarif, and then when we see her in A New Hope, Darth Vader's like, hey, you weren't on any mercy mission this time. She's like, no, we're on a diplomatic mission,
Right.
And Darth Vader should be like, dude, I just saw you like 5 minutes ago.
Right.
Remember when I nearly got on your ship and you escaped like 2 minutes ago?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a continuity flub if you want to look at it that way. It's not. It doesn't kill the experience, but yeah, it's clearly they fudged the continuity a little bit,
Right, to get her involved.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, man, what an interesting job being Pablo Hidalgo, because I mean, A, you have to make it make sense, and B, you have to answer to all these rabid fans.
Yeah. Well, it's a different set of circumstances now than it was a few years ago, where you had the different levels of canon.
Right.
You had A canon and G canon and S canon, and oh my, what a mess that was. This is easier because by wiping away all that extended universe stuff, well, everything, what you see is what you get.
Right.
Which means in like 20 years they're going to have the same problem. It's all going to be just as convoluted.
Yeah. And thinking back to The Last Jedi or this current trilogy, it'll be interesting because the first trilogy wrapped up with, okay, we've got the Empire and we've got a Death Star and we blow it up and the galaxy's safe.
Yeah.
Like, that's a very satisfying 3 films. And I wonder now, because obviously this is going to go on for years and years, I mean, can they have that same sort of conclusion? Like wrap everything up? Like, how do they keep starting new problems for trilogies?
Well, but I mean, the conclusion of the prequel trilogy is not a conclusion per se.
That is true. And I mean, those movies were set to, hold up the original trilogy, right?
Right.
In some ways. I don't know. I'm just curious, like how you do that. I mean, obviously you can do that and you can do it well, but I just wonder, it's challenging for sure from a storytelling standpoint.
I'm excited to see what they come up with.
Yeah, same.
By the way, Woody Harrelson is going to be in the Han Solo movie.
Yeah, that's right.
I think he's going to play Woody Harrelson.
Do you think he's going to be a little bit distracting?
I was actually thinking about that. I mean, it's impossible for Woody Harrelson not to be distracting, not because he's a bad actor, but because he has such an established persona that he doesn't really stray from that. Mm-hmm. So it'll be a little bit of like, oh, it's Woody Harrelson in a Star Wars movie.
Right.
But then I was thinking about how in Episode 8, Benicio del Toro is going to be in it. And I think true. Benicio del Toro is like Woody Harrelson in that respect, where you see Benicio del Toro. Like, even when he was that weird character in Guardians of the Galaxy,
mm-hmm.
he was still Benicio del Toro dressed up like a weird character.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that, but I mean, I think my understanding is he plays kind of the mentor figure who brings Han Solo into the world of smuggling or whatnot.
Yeah, you can kind of see that, right?
Right. I was about to say. Yeah. I mean, if there's any character I could see him playing, it's that.
Yeah.
And I think I said this before, man. After Rogue One, I'm super excited for the Han Solo movie.
Yeah, same.
I'm every casting notice I hear is just makes me more like intrigued by what they have planned.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see another actor play Han Solo.
Yeah, if that works, I mean they'll have opened up a brand new franchise for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If it works.
Yeah.
But that's a good place to wrap things up, Brian.
Yeah.
So
good chatting with you again.
I know, as always, we managed to cover a lot of ground. So as we wind things down, do you have anything you want to hype up for the audience?
Just that, I work over at the TV show Bob's Burgers, and we are back. So we should be on Sundays on Fox near you. So check it out. It's a great show.
Very cool. Yeah, can't recommend Bob's Burgers enough. And I've been reading the comics
and I am
too, by the
a
way.
fan. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I write for the comics. They've actually put... they're on hiatus for now, but they could be coming back later. We'll see about that.
You can read back issues online if you have Comixology. Do check them out. It's a good book.
Yeah.
And as for me, you can find me at my website, ZakisCorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner. That's also my Twitter handle. That's also my Instagram handle. And you can find the show at Facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, as well as moviefilmpodcast.com. You can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. And also, we are at iTunes and Stitcher and you name it, wherever you find podcasts, we are there. But please do go to iTunes, write a review, leave a star rating. Every little bit helps. I ask you this every episode. And I'm pleading with you, for the love of all that's decent, go to iTunes. Let people know what you think of the show, if you like it. If you don't like it, keep it to yourself. It's none of anybody's damn business what you think. But if you like it, spread the word. And we will be back in 2 weeks. We have lots of fun stuff coming up. I don't know offhand, but there is lots of fun stuff coming up. And we're looking forward to having you join us. So on behalf of Brian Hall, my name is Zaki Hassan. This has been the Movie Film Podcast. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening.
Welcome, friends. It's the Movie Film Podcast.